Gigi. Oh my God, my throat. Ugh. It is sore. I am currently getting over a cold. I already did my nighttime routine. I did my skincare. My skin is looking nice and moisturized. I got my scarf tied on my head. I just oiled my locks, my scalp. I am going to be taking NyQuil very, very soon, so I could be KO'd very, very shortly. But I just wanted to get on here real quick because I was on TikTok, and while I was on TikTok, I was watching this video, and this young lady, she was talking about the life lessons she's been able to realize since turning 30 years old. And I'm currently reading the book of Proverbs. And you know, they always tell you guys, if you're looking for wisdom, of course you can go in the Bible and you'll find wisdom. But the book of Proverbs give you so much wisdom, like so much wisdom. I'm currently on chapter 3 in the book of Proverbs, but the title of my video, it says, I lived and I've learned. And I will say this. I've learned so much in the past 5 years of my life that I've learned in my whole life. These past 5 years, you know, not only with me leaving my job, you know, becoming an entrepreneur, no longer working a 9 to 5, betting on myself, you know, entering in a career that I knew absolutely nothing about. But it's also learning so much about myself. I started therapy 5 years ago. Outside of me starting therapy, you know, I've been in a relationship for 6 years. So I would say I started learning more about my relationship at that 2-year mark. More so about myself and with my relationship. But for therapy, a lot has shifted in my life. And with me going to therapy, my therapist was able to hit on so much for me. He was able to, you know, shed light on a lot of things that I, of course, ignored. And one thing he always used to tell me is that until I get comfortable with being uncomfortable in my mess, I'm never going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And again, with reading the book of Proverbs, I'm realizing so much more that I tend to complain about, oh, I don't like how this person's treating me. I don't like how this is going on in my life. But I'm never taking the necessary steps to get myself out of that position or to get myself out of that situation. So once you get to that point when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you're really going to start seeing changes in your life. So the video, hey Griffin Flood, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I have 3 people in. Again, oh, thank you so much. If you are here, please like my video, subscribe to my channel. I have 420 subscribers. I am trying to get to 500 by the end of the month or even surpass that. So please do that. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. But like I said, I've learned so much in the past 5 years. And hey, you're back on my live. And a lot of the things that I've learned, of course, they're uncomfortable. I've cried a lot. Reason why I've cried a lot is because I had to lose some people in my life in order for me to get to the level that I'm at right now. But if we're going to sit here and start on like leaving the 9 to 5, like I told you guys, I used to work for Best Buy. I was always the one that was working 2 jobs. I would go to work, you know, from 7 to 5. And then once I get off at 5 o'clock, no, I am not married. I am in a relationship though. Please like the video. I will leave my job, my first job, and then I'll go work at my second job until 10:30, 11 o'clock. Hey Nora, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And I was always working. I was constantly being in this rat race, rat race, rat race. And I was like, oh, I want to make so much more money, you know. And it came to me wanting to, like, start, having more of my freedom. I wanted to be able to take vacation when I wanted to. I wanted to be able to celebrate the holidays with my family. Because I was working in retail, I never celebrated, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I only had that one day. But it was just, like I said, the rat race. So in 2020, I was able to, of course, quit my job. I started becoming an entrepreneur. I started in real estate. I started wholesaling real estate, and then eventually I bought my first property 6 months into real estate. And I was like, damn, I really like this life, And if I didn't allow myself to get exposed to the life that I really wanted, I probably would have still been working my 9 to 5. And I have 4 people on here. Please like the video. And the reason why I say that, if you don't get to the point where you're like rubbing shoulders with people that you want to be on their level, like, if they say, if you plan on being married, start hanging around married people. If you want to be fit, start hanging around fit people. If you want to be around successful people, start hanging around successful people. As cliche as it may sound, but it's so true. So once I got my feet wet, with being an entrepreneur, damn, okay, cool. And I was always on the fence about going to therapy. Always like, oh my God, if I go to therapy, they're gonna think I'm crazy. If I go to therapy, what my family gonna say? If I go to therapy, am I really going to change? Like, is it really going to make me start denying who I really am? Like, I had all of these, thoughts in my head about therapy, like why I just did not want to go. And then I started talking to my friends, and in my friend group, I was like, hey, I've been thinking about going to therapy. I did my whole interviews with different therapists. And of course, I wanted to go to a female therapist in the beginning. But because I started watching like Kevin Samuels, he talks so much about going to therapy and how you can't sit here and say you want different. And you can't continue saying everyone else is the problem and not taking a look in the mirror. So I finally found me this great therapist, and shout out to Clifton Fur down in Broward. He opened my eyes so much. My name is JJ. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. And going to therapy, my first few sessions, it was tear jerkers. Like, I literally was in therapy. I had my pillow. Literally, my therapist would give me a pillow. I had my pillow literally just like this. And he would ask me some questions, and he was like, okay, so you're not going to answer? And I'm like, probably not. Yes, please sub. Which country are you from? I am from the USA. I live in Palm Beach, Florida. But yeah, he was like, if you're not gonna talk, we're just gonna sit here. And I was like, this man really just gonna sit here and we're not gonna say anything. And I find myself just start crying. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I crying about? What did he say to make me start crying? And everyone always tell you, like, if you're really going to take that necessary step to go into therapy, it's not going to be easy. It's not always going to be like, oh my God, laughs and yeah, this is great. No, there's times I went to therapy and I wanted to just curse my therapist out. Like, you don't know me like that. And you can't tell me this is the reason why my life is the way it is. But once I started getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's when the necessary changes started happening in my life. That's when I started having uncomfortable conversations with people. I was forced to, start dealing with situations at hand opposed to like running away. Because I was always one like, I am not a combative person. I don't like confrontation at all. I have 5 people in here. Please like the video. Oh, I just got another like video. I am not someone that like confrontation. So what my therapist was giving me like assignments, like, hey, I'm sending you to go talk to this friend and tell this friend what they did wrong to you. And I'm just like, what if that friend don't want to be my friend anymore? I was not ready for that. I had to realize that I had abandonment issues. With me having abandonment issues, I wanted to hold on to every single person that I had in my life. Every single person. I got 5 likes. I'm so happy. I wanted to hold on to every single person I had in my life. Even if they did me wrong, I wanted to hold on so tight to them. And my therapist had to get me to the point where it was okay to not be okay. Yeah, I know y'all probably heard of the song, it's okay not to be okay. Yeah, that song right there. And when I went to my therapist and I told him like, hey, I had conversation with so and so, and he was like, well, how do you feel? I felt so much better because I felt like, a weight was lifted off of my shoulder because the conversation I was probably avoiding for years. I want to invite you to Ghana if you don't mind. Nicholas, are you subscribed to my channel? I hope you are. I said Ghana. Guyana. Hey, send me deets. I've been wanting to go and visit Africa. Just haven't had a reason to do so yet. So yeah. So back to what I was saying about therapy, with me going, okay, got the vocals. Just a little bit, I used to sing in church. I was a part of the praise team. And being raised in church, my mom, going to Haitian church, and we was just speaking Creole and French. I had to put the vocals out there. But my therapist, he literally opened my eyes to start realizing my worth. Because I did not, oh, B Tolentino, you're actually one of the regulars. Hey, thank you for tuning in. My voice is so raspy right now because I'm congested. I'm losing my voice. But I wanted to come and talk to y'all. I used to do this all the time on Instagram. And I feel like I need to just show you guys my personality, like who I really am. Get y'all to know a little bit more about who Gigi is, why I call myself Gigi Bias Florida, and all of that and the above. But going to therapy, I thought I had to be in therapy for years. I was in therapy for 2 to 3 years. Like I said, it was very uncomfortable. It forced me to get out of my comfort zone. It forced me to be okay with being not okay. It forced me to being in my quiet season. A lot of us are going to go through a phase in our life when we have a quiet season, a season that is just still. It's a season that you are just to yourself. It's a season, it's just you and God. And I have had quite a few seasons where I feel like God has just been tugging at me. Like when I tell you tugging at me, I will be going to sleep. I have a song on my spirit. I'll wake up. I have a song on my spirit. I'll be in the middle of the day and I'll just be putting on sermons on YouTube. I'll be calling my homegirl and I'll like, wait, what does this mean? And it's so important. I know I said the title of this video is I Lived and I Learned. I would tell anyone, it is so important. If you are a believer in Christ, it is so important to have a friend group that you can go to and that can pray for you. If you are ever in a vulnerable state in your life, that you could just say, hey, I'm feeling weak. This is what I'm going through right now. Can you just lift me up in prayer? Because I will say that has helped me out tremendously in these past 5 years. So much. I have this one friend, her name is Yash. She's actually my loctician. And me and her, like, we clicked on her just doing my locks. But when someone is in your hair, like their spirit, whatever they're feeling and all of that, I feel like it transcends to you. And with her, me and her connected on a spiritual level because she's a believer in Christ. And anytime I need a prayer, or we'll be like at, getting my hair done and we're like having a full-blown conversation about scripture. We talk about so many different topics. And I feel like it's so powerful and it's so great to have when you're able to call on friends and you're able to share that intimate moment with them. Another thing that caused me to learn so much in these past 5 years, Bible study. I was going to Bible study with the church. A lot of us, we are afraid to talk about church hurt. I've experienced church hurt twice. The first time I experienced church hurt was when I was in my childhood church. It was a family church. And you know how some churches, they have like the little cliques, and with it having little cliques, you start to feel like you just don't belong. And that was me. I was one. I was like I said. I'm not a person that likes confrontation. I'm non-confrontational. So when I start seeing like problems and I start feeling like I'm isolated, I just automatically leave. I just feel like there's no point in me having a conversation because at this big grown age, I feel like people know exactly what they're doing. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that way or feel that way. So I left my church. And then I was gone for a few years. I went back only because my grandma passed away and I had to go there for her funeral. And that's where my grandma wanted to have her funeral. So I ended up going back. You know, I started getting acclimated with the church again, but it just didn't feel right. And a lot of us, we ignore the signs, we ignore the feeling when it's not our time or it's not our place there anymore. We feel like, oh, we're just gonna force it. No, don't force it. Like, do not force it. Like, spread your wings elsewhere. And that's what I did. I spreaded my wings elsewhere, and I ended up at this other church that I fell in love with. I got on the praise team, the worship, like the whole praise and worship was on a whole different level. Like when I tell you the presence of God was in there, the presence of God was in there. And I felt like at home. I had all my friends and even my boyfriend, he was calling me the church girl because I was at church Wednesday night for Bible study. I was at church Thursday and Friday for praise team rehearsal. And then Sunday, I was there pretty much all morning till like early afternoon. And I just loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. Until it got to the point, you know, when people started being judgmental. And when I say people start being judgmental, people are, you know, are prone to start throwing stones at you and their life could be in shambles. But me, I am someone that I live in my truth. If I'm doing something, I'm going to own up to it, whether you like it or not. I am not someone that likes to box myself in. I am one that I feel like I am just meant to be out of the box. I am just a free-spirited kind of girl. And it was on my birthday and all of this had took place, and I ended up, you know, leaving the church. I said, I just can't be a part of this congregation when I feel like you guys are not allowing people to be who they are. And in the Bible, it says, come as you are. You know, church is not for people that are perfect. And every single day, you know, when I wake up and I say my prayer, I tell God, you know, thank you for, you know, giving me another day to make it. And, you know, thank you for having patience and having love for a sinner like me. Because I know I sin every single day. Even when I think I'm not sinning, I'm probably sinning. But I always, you know, give God grace and, you know, ask him to forgive me because I'm human. But like I said, I've lived and I've learned. And also having people to hold you accountable. I don't know if you guys have gone through that. Probably would tell me like some of the things you've learned in your past years, you know, what year you felt like was the most monumental year for you that you've learned something. But like I said, these past 5 years have been the most eye-opener years for me. It was the year I started therapy. It was the year that I branched out into entrepreneurship. I learned a whole new career as far as becoming a real estate investor. Um, I'm still learning, like when my boyfriend told me, like, you just don't know who you are. And I'd be like, yeah, I know who I am. No, like you just really don't know how much influence you have on people, how much how great you are. You know, a lot of us, you know, we will sit here and say that, hey, you know, I'm that girl, I'm that girl. And, you know, we will walk around like our head held high and we feel like we have so much confidence. And other people will look at us and say like, damn girl, you know, I wish I could be like you because you're always just so confident. But deep down inside, people just don't know how many battles you're facing and, you know, dealing with to actually have to show up for yourself. And I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress, you know. Every single day I'm working harder and harder to get to that next level. Um, but it takes time. It takes time. It really, really, really takes time. Like I said, I'm in this season right now where I'm just letting God do what he have to do. This is a God kind of God did it kind of season. God did it kind of year. And I feel like it's going to be years because I'm not in control anymore. I'm not trying to be in control. I feel like when I try to do things on my own, it just does not go as planned. So I'm just letting God have his way, and see where that goes. You know, I've only been 32 for about a month, and it's just like, damn, I'm 32 years old. And with me reflecting on being 32, I could look back when I was 22, what I was doing. I was clubbing heavy. Not to say that I don't club now, but the type of things I was doing when I was 22 has changed tremendously. 10 years make a huge difference. The friends that I had, the friends that I thought I was going to be doing life with, I'm no longer, in cahoots with them now. We're not clicked in, and again, life happens. Doing it, Big ENT, you my babe though. Stop lying to these people. Oh my God. B. Tolentino, yes, I totally resonate with you. I'm so scared to face my fears with therapy. I remember you had the contest and I was so nervous writing to you my true feelings about getting into real estate. Listen, doing it, I don't know who you are, but hey, if I'm Bay, hey there, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. But B, listen, you have to overcome those fears. You have to overcome them because if you sit there, life is going to be passing you by. Life is going to pass you by, and it's always going to be that shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. And that's the one thing you don't want to have to sit in the mirror and have to tell yourself. Therapy, I know a lot of people tell you that therapy is like, it's great. Yes, it's great if you're willing to do the work. Another reason why I highly recommend going to therapy, you learn so much more about yourself that your friends won't be able to tell you, your family won't be able to tell you, not even yourself will be able to tell you. Like, therapy it just opens your mind to so much more. And I remember you wanting to get into real estate. And listen, the only person that's going to hold you back is yourself. The only person. Because that's a constant battle I have with myself. I feel like I'm the only person that's holding myself back. Yes, I've done that for the past few years, but this year I decided to jump for me and me only. Listen, I resonate with you doing it for so many years. Like, I had this conversation with my boyfriend. When you've been accustomed to living a certain kind of way and you've been accustomed to putting yourself on the back burner for so many years, it's hard to like turn that switch off. It is so hard. When I tell you so hard to turn that switch off, it's so hard to start being selfish and putting yourself first because you have always been taught and told to, oh, what about this person? You've always been that person extending your hand. But at the end of the day, you have to realize who's going to come and save you. I'm going to rub your feet when you off of live, but keep dropping them gems. You're so funny. But seriously, who's going to come and save you? Like, I've been trying to find, like, what would be my niche, on YouTube. Should I do motivational videos? Should I do videos about me doing makeup? Should I do videos about me doing fitness? And I was just like, do I have to box myself in? There's so many things I like. Like on my Instagram page, Gigi Buys Florida, I talk about all things. I talk about relationships. I talk about real estate. I talk about fitness. And I'm just a motivational kind of person. Like, I'm motivating myself when I'm talking to y'all. And that's just what it's all about. Some people are all for self. Like me, I'm like, if I could spread the word, if I could teach one, what is it? Each one, teach one. If I could drop a gem with one person and they go to the next person and drop that gem, I feel like I'm doing my due job or due service, whatever you want to call it. But you can't keep putting yourself on the back burner. You just can't keep doing it. Like, I feel like for me, having my neck surgery, that was God's way of telling me, sit yourself down somewhere. sit down and see who's going to come and tend to you. Honestly, I feel like that's what he was doing. Because I was always on the go. Always, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to the gym, when it comes to friends, I was always showing up for people. But I felt like God said, you know what? You going to get the surgery? I'm going to put you on the back burner. And I want to see how many people show up for you. And I promise you, when I had my surgery in March, people that I would have never thought that would show up for me did. Like, I have this one friend. Sorry, I'm about to get emotional. I have this one friend. I haven't even known her for a year, and she volunteered to take me to go get my surgery done. I'm just like, God, is this you? You just, putting people in place for the right reasons, and God will do that. God has a sense of humor. Believe it or not, we will sit here and we will pray to God and say, hey, God, I want you to add this to my life. Or, hey, God, I want you to send me some supportive friends. Or, hey, God, I want you to send me a man that's going to love me for who I am. And because it's not packaged the way we want it to be packaged, we will ignore the signs. I can't tell y'all how many times. I got 4 people on here right now. And if y'all are hearing me, if y'all don't take nothing from this live, I will tell y'all this. God has a sense of humor. And I'm going to repeat it again. God has a sense of humor. He will send people on your path. He will send people in your life, not on your time, but on his time. And every time he sent it on his time, it's always the right time. Because when I went and got my surgery, I woke up from my surgery and I was like, oh, I made it. I made it through. But her driving me back home, and I'm just like, dang, I haven't even known this girl for a year. But she stepped in and just like, hey, Gigi, I'm here for you. And didn't ask me for anything. I didn't have to pay her. I didn't, oh, I got you. She was just there. It was just like, it was genuine. And you know how good it feels to finally find someone that's genuine in your life? It is a beautiful thing. Like I told y'all about my loctician. I told y'all about my friend Jody. I have a lot of other friends as well, but it's just, those key moments where you're able to pinpoint someone being genuine to you without receiving anything in return. That right there, like, that's something money can't, you can't put a dollar amount on. I had to get on the floor because I had to put my phone on charge and come talk to y'all. Like, y'all is like, it's just something money can't, you can't put a price on it. You just really can't. And a lot of people, they try to put themselves in positions and they feel like everything that they do for someone or whatever they're doing in life, it has to have a price tag or they have to get paid for it. There's certain opportunities that come in your life. It's not going to have you're not going to get compensated for it. You may not get compensated right now, but in the future, you may end up getting compensated for it. But because we're ignoring the signs or we're ignoring the opportunities or we feel like, oh, no, I'm not going to be doing this for free, you end up, missing out on your blessings. You know how many times people have missed out on their blessings because that blessing wasn't packaged the way that they wanted it to be packaged? I feel like with me talking to y'all right now, this might be my niche. Coming on here being motivational, inspirational, just talking to y'all about life, how life is life for me. Because life been life, and life has been life for everyone. And another thing my therapist had taught me, he told me, because I am one, the minute someone called my phone, the minute someone texts my phone, I feel like I got to answer immediately. Only person I tend to answer immediately for is my boyfriend because he has the red, he made me, like, put your red receipts on because, y'all ladies like playing games. And he's right because I used to see message pop on my phone, I would ignore it. But back to what my therapist was saying, my therapist told me, count to 10 every single time you have to hesitate on responding to someone. And I was like, why is he having me do this? Like, count to 10 for what? You would be surprised how often and how fast. Yes, raw and honest. Listen. You already know. You are one of my followers from Instagram. I'm gonna just give it to y'all blood raw. And I feel like that is what works for me. Cause faking it, like I used to, in my early, throughout my teens, my 20s, I was just going through life. I can see you like your guy so much into existence that you always say, my boyfriend, my boyfriend. Yeah, listen. One thing about my man, I'm going to give him his props right now. I've known my boyfriend. I met my boyfriend when I was 22. I'm 32 now. So 10 years I've known my boyfriend. And when I met my boyfriend, again, we was just kicking it, hanging out, you know, whatever the case was. And he was one that was the first man that I could say that was brutally honest with me. And when I say he was brutally honest with me, we were kicking it. He came and told me, he was like, you know what? 6 months in, hey, I don't want a relationship right now. You know, I'm focusing on my career. You know, maybe in the future we might cross paths again. But right now, this is not going to be anything serious. And I promise you, I hated this man so much. I didn't even want to talk, like, just the thought of him. My mom would bring his name. I'm like, girl, don't even bring that man up. It's like, ugh, to me. But like I said, that was the first man that was ever brutally honest to me. And life happened. That's why I said God has a sense of humor. And everything is just written in your book. When God has a plan for you, you may think you're going to see that plan play out the way you want to see it play out, but God has it written the way it's supposed to be written. Fast forward, you know, life happened. 26. Here goes my boyfriend. Hey, I want to be your dude. I'm like, oh, now you want to be my dude? And we ended up being in a relationship. Now we're 6 years in. And I honestly feel like that's who God has placed in my life to be my husband. Everything is not going to be packaged the way you want it to be packaged. And I say that because, you know, my boyfriend has kids. You know, I used to always say I would not date a man with kids. Hey, God has a sense of humor. He sent me a man with kids. I said that I would never, you know, live with a man before getting married. Again, God has a sense of humor. My boyfriend and I, we've been living together for the past 5 years. And the reason why I say all of this is because, like I said, I had an idea in my head on how I wanted my life to be, but that was not the plan God had for me. He did not want my life to be that way. The plans my friends had for me was not the plans God had for me. And I love the fact that I did not follow my own plans. Because if I would have followed my own plans, I probably wouldn't be in this position right now. I probably wouldn't even be on this live right now talking to you guys. I probably would have been at work or probably just getting off from work, tired. Oh my God, I got to wake up tomorrow morning and go to work. I am honestly, you know, blessed. And, you know, I thank God every single day that I'm able to wake up on my own time. I'm able to move by the beat of my own drum. I am able to make the amount of money that I want to make. You know, my cup overflows. Yeah, God said, think again. Yeah, he definitely said, think again. But I am blessed to be in a position where I can say my cup runneth over. And it's not just monetarily, you know, my cup runneth over. It's, you know, spiritually, you know, abundantly, because I am in a position that I have control of how I want to spend my day. I have control of how I want my life to be orchestrated. You know, it's not someone else controlling my time. And that is a powerful thing to be able to have control over. And, you know, God had my boyfriend come in my life, you know, to introduce me to real estate. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you would know my story. My boyfriend introduced me to real estate. And I thank him every single day for it because he opened my eyes to bigger and greater things. And it takes a real man, a real man, to be able to do that. So shout out to my man for doing that. But when I said with my therapist, you know, telling me to wait 10, you know, count to 10 to respond to a message, I never realized how I would actually say yes to things that I really wanted to say no to. Like, how many of y'all have ever been in a position like someone be like, hey girl, you think you could take me somewhere, you know, in an hour, or you think you could take me to the doctor appointment in the morning? And because you're so used to saying yes, 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 the first thing that come out of your mouth is like, yeah, girl, I got you. Knowing good and well you did not want to do it. That was me. I was the first response. The first response that came out of my mouth is like, damn, I might be the only person that person may be able to have to do this for them. So why would I say no? I'm really following your conversation, but I'm coming soon. You're coming soon where? Listen, my man don't play about me, okay? My man do not play about me. What does that mean, I'm coming soon? Oh my God, you guys are so funny. But the reason, like, with me always saying yes, I was like, I really wanted to say no in the moments that I said yes. And I'm just so happy now that I say no without a care in the world. Like, if I don't feel like doing something, just no. And no is no. And it's okay to say no. Like, it is okay. It is A-okay to say no. Because everyone is not going to like how you feel. Everyone's not going to agree with how you feel. Like, that is just the nature of life. Like, that's just how life is, you know. And I think I found my I think I found my niche. I think I found my niche coming on here. Just giving y'all a little bit more into who I am. Like, who is Gigi? Or what's going on with Gigi? What's Gigi doing now? Like, how's life going for Gigi? There's days when I be shopping. There's days when I'm just, you know, laying my behind in the bed and, you know, just watching TV, binge watching TV. I was supposed to be binge watching a series with Carlton. And yet I was like, let me go on live, you know, and talk to my subscribers, to my family over here. Yes, healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are so important. I struggle with boundaries. I struggle with boundaries when people be asking me about personal things in my life. I feel like, damn, you know, ooh, confession moment right now, truth moment right now. I overshared with any and everyone. I could have met someone, damn, probably would have been cool for like a week or two. And they asked me something like, girl, how's your relationship? Like, oh my God, girl, you know, my relationship is I was one that overshared so much. And I thank God that I started to, you know, clutch my pearls when it comes to oversharing, because your business is not everyone's business. And sometimes you'll be thinking you're informing or telling a friend what's going on, but you could easily be, you know, giving the enemy fuel to bring your whatever situation you got going on down. That need to be an everyday prayer for me. You know, Lord, please remove the shackles of oversharing, because that right there has me in a chokehold. And I feel like, you know, not even I feel like, a lot of time we'll be oversharing with people. And when you sit back and realize, you're like, damn, this person has not told me anything that deep that's going on in their life. So why am I just sitting here opening myself, allowing myself to be so vulnerable with them, and I don't even know what's going on in their life? Like, why? Why do we do that? Like, I used to do it so much. And I realizing like it was just a need validation. Like, validation. I was seeking validation so much. Oh my God. I was seeking validation so much that I was telling any and everything that was going on in my life just to keep the conversation going. But like, girl, people will like you for who you are. Like, I'm dope in real life. So there was no reason why I had to just tell people what was going on in my life for them to be cool with me. Like, we ain't cool like that. You don't need to know my business like that. But I just felt like that was my I wouldn't even say it was a coping mechanism. It was just something that I was just so comfortable with doing that it got out of hand. And you know, when you end up falling out with people, like, damn, I done told this person some very, 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 very deep secrets or very important things that took place in my life. And like, damn, I wonder if they're going to tell someone else. Now, you know, if you get to that point and you end up feeling like, damn, I regret telling someone something. First instinct, exactly. First instinct be like, you get to that point like, damn, maybe I should have kept that to myself. Like, ooh, that person might go tell someone else. Like, that person might go pillow talk. Y'all know y'all have had those moments when you be like, oh my God, I feel so stupid telling someone something so personal. I can't count how many times I done told someone something. I'd be like, damn, if only I could take that back. If only I could turn back the hands of time and be like, you know what? Why did I tell you that? It was none of your business in the first place. It just wasn't. But, you know, like I say, you live and you learn. This is just a part of living and learning. And it takes growth, you know. It takes, you know, certain experiences all the time, and it be on your mind for the rest of the day. Girl, the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Girl, probably the rest of the year. I be thinking of some of the people I had conversation with, and I'm just like, you knew better. And let me go tell Carlton I done had a conversation with someone. He be like, you just want people in your business. It ain't none of their business. And I be like, you right. You right. I'm gonna agree with you when you're right. But it's just, I feel like us ladies, we do that. You know, us ladies, we trauma bond. That's another thing that I've learned. I've lived and I've learned that I was trauma bonding with so many people. Like, oh my God. I remember when I was 16, and then I had friends that I thought we was, you know, we was good. We was cool. And then now at 32, I'm looking back like, I should have never been friends with certain people. We ain't had nothing in common. Absolutely nothing in common. The only reason why I was friends with them is because we were bonding on some kind of trauma. Look at Carlton. Yikes. Yes, Carlton is on here. But yeah, like at 32, at this big grown age, I'm just like, you know what? Why was I even friends with that person in the first place? And Carlton loves telling me this, like, oh, you know, you're here and these people are down here, but yet you always tend to bring yourself down to be on their level. Like, you're just afraid to come to the realization that you've outgrown people. And that's true. That's for a lot of us. You know, when we get to a certain point in life, it's feel like we want to go back down and pull people back up with us. But some people are just meant to be left behind. It's just a part of life. Some people are meant to be left behind. And that's why I say God be having a sense of humor. And sometimes we don't take heed of what he's teaching us in the first place. He gonna slap us and be like, I told you before. Why are you even here? But like you said, God already had it written. That experience got you to where you are now. You are so right. Like, it was already written. It was already written. And sometimes I just be like, you know what? When I be having my conversation with God, when I be in the shower, when I be in my bed, when I be in the car, I be like, God, you know what? Especially when certain songs come on my spirit, I just be like, you know what, God? There's a reason why this took place. There's a reason why it took place. There's a reason why I had to, you know, go through certain breakups, friendship breakups. There's a reason, like, you know, excuse me, that, for example, I used to always beat myself up, and I always have this conversation with my boyfriend. And that's how I'm like, dang, you know, I still have not forgave my dad for not being a part of my life. And I'm 32 years old. I still have not forgave this man for coming in my life at 17 years old. I still have not forgave him for being a coward. I still have not forgiven him for putting his wife before me. And if I would have never experienced those daddy issues, I probably would not be where I am right now. Like, I probably wouldn't. You know, I used to always feel so sorry for myself. Carlton said, God always give the signs. It's up to you to listen. You're right. And sometimes, you know, when he gives you the sign, it may not hit you at that point. But there's going to come a point in life, you're going to look back and be like, you know what, God, I've seen this before. How do I operate? How do I move? Like, what do I have to change? For me, you know, it's just like, you know, when you tell a child not to put their hand on the stove and they be like, I want to see how hot it can get. That's me. I be wanting to see how rough, how sour can it get until I can't deal with it no more. And it just be like, you know what? All right. I'm going to wave my white flag. But it's just certain situations I feel like it just they have to happen. They have to happen. You have to, you know, kiss a few frogs. till you meet your Prince Charming. That happened to me. I dated some Pookie and Ray Rays. I dated some men that weren't worth a dime. Like, I remember calling men when they was situationships. I remember calling guys that I was just talking to, like my boyfriend. That is actually a great topic, daddy issues. I'm actually gonna do a live stream on daddy issues. But I remember I used to be so delusional, thinking like I was in a relationship and it was really a situationship. And I used to be okay with men not even taking me out on a date. Oh my God. Woo, when I say I lived and I learned, listen, they got him in a relationship. But I can't imagine myself being with a man that refused to take me out on a date. What is life? I used to literally be talking like hard down, texting, on the phone, caking with men that didn't even think twice about buying me anything for my birthday. Didn't think twice about taking me out on a date. Didn't even think twice about, well, luckily I ain't even introduced him to my mama. But it was just like, this is how dumb and naive I was when it came to these type of men. But like I said, you live and you learn. What I know now, I wish I knew back then, because I probably would have did things completely differently. But I try to, extend that to my friends with the experience that I have gone through. I am fortunate to be in a relationship where I have a man that is able to give me, he's a logical kind of man. Because us women, we be full of our emotions. And when I say we be full of our emotions, we be so we be delusional that we hate to be held accountable. Because that's me. Listen, I hate when I have to tell Carlton that, you were right. You were right. I hate it. And when I be telling my friends, I would never forget when my friends used to tell me, like, girl, you starting to sound like Kevin Samuels. Because listen, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, I used to binge watch. Kevin Samuels. Because when Kevin Samuels hit on topics about daddy issues, when he talked about women with the weight, the weight, and they just, oh girl, I'm thick and all that. When he used to talk about that, when he used to talk about women being in a masculine era, like women love being an independent, I'm a strong black independent woman. That it's not cute. It's not cute. And I used to fall for that narrative. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was going down that rabbit hole too. I'm a strong black independent woman. Oh, I want to pay all my bills. What? No. It's 2024. You see how expensive things are? Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and try to say I'm okay with going 50-50 with a man. I need my man to be a provider. But I was brainwashed back in the day. Because I seen my mom do it. I seen my auntie do it. I seen my grandma do it. And when you become a product of your environment, you feel like that's the only way for life to be. No. No. Certain things I've seen or I've witnessed my family go through, the women in my family go through, I'll be damned if I actually go through it. Because that's just not how I want my story to be written. No. And another great topic I feel like I really, really need to deep dive on. I know we talk so much about daddy issues and how ladies are always going through daddy issues, but we really need to touch on mommy issues, because us ladies, we really be having some mommy issues in real life. Because there's, like I was telling my boyfriend, growing up, I've only heard my mom tell me I love you once in my 32 years of living. She probably told me when I was a little girl, I was her first child and all of that. But I could vividly remember my mom saying, Georgette, I love you, when I was 14 years old. And that's when I was about to go to London. I was about to be gone for 11 days. And when I told him that, he was like, what? I'm like, yeah. My mom only told me she loved me one time that I could remember. And at 32 years old, looking back, I'm going to be completely honest with you. That is so hurtful and painful to say. Because I see so many people. I even see my boyfriend. My boyfriend be on the phone with his mom. They getting off the phone. I love you. He on the phone with his grandma. I love you. He on the phone. Listen, B, I feel you. I resonate with you because we don't talk about that. We really do not talk about how it affects us as adults. It affects us so much. And I used to catch myself like, damn, do my mama even really love me? So that's why it's kind of hard for me to even accept and appreciate when people tell me like I love you. Because like I'm not used to hearing it. So if you're not used to hearing something, every time someone tell you that they love you, or if you see it happening, you automatically start sabotaging it because you feel like it's too good to be true. Now I'm hitting on something deep because this is going to be like a what is it called? A revelation for me. Because I would say, like I told you, me and my boyfriend been together for 6 years. But I would say in year our second and third year of our relationship, I can say that looking back, since the topic is I lived and I learned, looking back, I can honestly say that I was starting to sabotage my relationship. And the reason why, like, whenever I would get upset, like he would do something, and it may not even be something that was major. But I would go silent. I would go mute. I was not one that liked to communicate and express like this is what you did to me. I avoided the confrontation at all times. So I would go mute and he'll be talking to me, I'd be looking at him like, okay, yeah, you talking or whatever. And it was one day he was like, let me tell you something. And I thought this man had lost his mind, but I can laugh at it now. He said, let me tell you, I don't know what you got going on right now. I don't know why my eyes watering up. He was like, I don't know what you got going on right now, but we ain't going to be doing this little, silent treatment and you don't know how to use your words, or you can go back to your mama house. And I was like, what? And it was at that point I'm just like, yo, I'm not used to communicating or telling, what's going on. Because my mom used to be like, I was always used to like, holding whatever I had. If I felt some type of way, it was like, just suck it up. This crowd is saying this is so funny. I'm so surprised I'm even admitting this, but I've lived and I learned. And another thing, with the whole kids, when he used to be like, oh, I feel like you have a problem with my children. I'm just like, no, I don't. But again, bringing back, childhood, I witnessed how, my dad used to put his kids before me. I witnessed, my dad having to, deal with me in secrecy. I, remember having to blow up my dad's phone just for him to pick up the phone and just say, hey, I'm going to call you back. Like, I used to always ask myself, why is this so hard for this man to just sit here and say, you know what? I can't talk to you right now. The need and seeking validation, it honestly stemmed from my dad. And I'm going to deep dive into that more when I talk about daddy issues. But that's where it all is stemmed from. Carlton said, yes, communication is the foundation of any relationship. But like I said, B, listen, when I tell you, that's why I say, you know what? I feel like my niche is just like having these raw, uncut conversations because I'm not going to come on here and just say like, yeah, girl, I'm doing my makeup. Ooh, there's going to be times for that. I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I'm at the store and I'm picking up luxury items because I don't like buying luxury items all the time. Like, we need to have these real, uncut conversations. But I was not one that liked to communicate. I barely communicated in my friendships. So I was just one, I just had to suck it up. And hey, eventually we start talking and we act like everything is okay. But he forced me. My boyfriend forced me to start communicating. He forced me to start having a backbone. He forced me to start standing up for myself. And a lot of us ladies, we don't want to give We don't want to give our significant other the props. We don't want to give our significant other their flowers. But me, I'm gonna give my man his flowers because he, took me from the darkness and brought the light. Showed me the light. However y'all want to correlate that, but he did a lot of that because when you realize that you're a damaged person, because I used to, again, like I said, I used to go online. It was so hard for me to even be comfortable coming online with no makeup on. It was in 2021, I went on social media with no makeup. I did a whole live on my Instagram with no makeup. I'm like, oh my God, y'all gonna see my blemishes. Because I was so used to, like, I had to fake it till I make it, or I had to perfect everything. People ain't really living the life that they claim to be living on social media. I'm gonna be honest with you. People are really not living the life that they claim to be living on social media. Y'all would be so surprised how many of the it girls y'all see on social media that's whining and dining and fine dining and all the men that's on them. And they are, like I said, rubbing pennies to keep it together. But B, if you are one that's dealing with daddy issues, girl, I feel for you. I've been there. I'm still there at this big grown 32-year-old age. I don't even have kids yet. And one of the reasons why I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm afraid to have kids is just the fact that I want my child to be able to experience a two-parent household, let alone I want my child to know how it feels to have a dad in their life. Because I don't know how it feels. I don't know how it feels to hear my dad say, I'm proud of you. I mean, I hear it at this grown age, but it's like, okay, here go this man telling me he's proud of me. It doesn't resonate because you weren't there when I was, being brought up. You weren't there in the trenches with me. You weren't there when I had to go to you and, cry on your shoulder, be like, Daddy, this is what's going on. Or, Daddy, I'm dating this person. Can you give me a back? He was not there. So it's just like, it's just words for me. Just like when I hear the words, I love you, from friends, from my significant other, I always be like, do you really mean it? Do you really love me? Why do you love me? And, I don't know if you're like this, B, or to the 4 people that I have on here, if you ever found yourself in a position and you're always asking like, why? Why are you with me? Why do you want to be with me? Why are you still here? Because I used to ask myself that all the time. I used to catch myself sometimes in the bathroom. My boyfriend would be in the living room and he'll be watching his TV and I'll be in the bathroom and again, overthinking. That's another thing that I do a lot. I overthink way too much. I'll overthink myself into a bad scenario. Things could be going great. Great. When I tell you great, I will sit there and I'll start thinking like it could be something, the smallest thing he said. I'm like, did he really mean it that way or did he mean it this way? And of course, I'm going to think of the most toxic thing that he could easily possibly have said. And I'm down a rabbit hole. Always in your head. Girl, I live in my head. That's why sometimes I have my notes. I'll start brain dumping in my notes because I find myself thinking the craziest things like, what if, like, the main thing I've been thinking, and this especially because of my family and my friends, like, what if I never get married? What if I never have kids? What if this man don't want to be with me? Like, what if he doesn't see himself being, long term with me? Like, what if this is just going to be, for now and not like, those are the type of, I feel like anxiety starts to play a huge role in it because all of the thoughts that just gets, jammed in our head because of certain things that we've gone through life. But that's why I said, therapy will help you so much because when you're able to talk to someone that's completely unbiased and you're just able to, of course, you're paying them to just dump whatever you're going through in life and they're able to compartmentalize the certain things that you're dealing with. Like, okay, this is your childhood trauma. Okay, the reason why you deal with relationships this way is because of your childhood trauma. It's because of your daddy issues. The reason why you have a hard time, keeping female friends. This is for me. My mom and I, we didn't always have the best of relationship. which I hate when you do that and not able to communicate and do a silent treatment. Yep. I used to do that all the time. All the time. Be stuck in my head. I get home. And my boyfriend at first, like I said, he used to be like, okay, did I do something to her? Did I say something wrong? But when he realized he didn't say anything or do anything to me, he was like, hell no, I'm not going to sit here and take, the blame for whatever the hell's going on in your head. He used to always say, this is a you problem, not a me problem. You need to figure it out. I didn't do anything to you. And he's right. It's a me problem. He didn't do anything to me. Absolutely nothing to me. But my past experiences have allowed me to start to overthink and feel like certain things in my life are too good to be true. That's why he used to always ask me, like, are you afraid or are you ashamed of your success? And I used to always tell myself, like, no, I love the fact that I'm successful. Like, why would I be ashamed of me being successful? Yeah, because sometimes I feel like it's just too damn good to be true. Like, why me? Like, me of all people? Like, do you not know what I went through? Like, come on now. Like, you talking about the girl that was raised by a teen mother? You talking about the girl that lived in over... Another thing I had talked to my boyfriend about, you talking about the young lady that's 32 years old that have lived in multiple places. Like, I'm talking about within the same, in the county. But dealing with eviction. And, oh my God, not Gigi buys Florida. Yes. My mom being a single mother, a real single mother, being a teen mother, me being her struggle baby. Yeah, my mom, hey, we live in this apartment, we getting evicted. Dealing with the lights being off, dealing with the water being off. Like, this is real life. And some people are afraid to tell their truth or live in their truth. Like, I'm not ashamed of my truth because my mom did what she had to do to give me the life that she gave me. It was not always, peachy. My boyfriend and I, we talk about it a lot when he told me, he's fortunate he didn't have to experience certain things. I remember the first time he had to go to the laundromat, and it's because he had to go wash a comforter set for his Airbnb. And I'm telling him, like, man, Saturdays was the days, we used to go to the laundromat. We'd be in the laundromat for hours, using the big machine, putting the quarters, going to change the money to make them quarters, those were, like, that was my childhood. We came from two different, upbringings, but some way, somehow, God saw fit that it was him that I was supposed to be with, and he saw that he was supposed to be with me. But me, I say all that to say, a lot of us are afraid to open up with our partner, with our friends, just give them the truth and let them know, like, listen, this is the life that I'm living. Like, my life is not perfect. I did not come from money. Like, I'm not used to, the home cooked meals all the time. Yes, routine for me was new to him. It definitely was. When he brought the washer and dryer in the house, I'm like, only time I had a washer and dryer in our house is when we lived in an apartment. When they had the apartment, they had a washer and dryer in there. That was the only time. But I know how to, wash my clothes on my hand, again, not only because I'm an islander, but because I remember having to go to school. Hey, if I needed a clean shirt or whatever, wash it on my hand. We had a little clothesline in the backyard of my grandma's house. We used to wash our clothes and go put it on the clothesline. That was my upbringing. And it's not to say that I'm ashamed of it, because some people are ashamed of their upbringing. I'm not. I take pride of my upbringing. I love the fact that I was raised the way I was. Would I have wanted it to be different? Of course, who wouldn't? But it did not change who I am. But it's changing the narrative of how I want it to be when I have my own child. I want to make sure my child has a father in the house. I want to make sure my child know what a healthy relationship looks like. I want my child to be able to feel like they can come to me and talk about any and everything. I want my child to feel like they have a support system. One thing I would say with my mom always made me feel like, okay, you know what? You always can return home. Like my mom always like, Miss Linda, huh? That lady she gonna go through hell for her kids. And that, I thank God I was able to witness that from my mom, from my grandma. Cause my mom, she like I said, she made it happen. She made it happen. And this life has actually inspired me to talk about mommy issues, daddy issues. That's the insider with Carlton. Mommy, mommy, mommy. Every time my mama called me, he'd be like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Because my mom will call me for more than 10 times a day. My mom will call me. My mom don't hear my voice. She feel like something is wrong. But I'm actually happy to have that with my mom. But the next live I do, we're going to, talk about daddy issues, the effects of daddy issues when it comes to relationships, friendships, and future parenthood. Because a lot of us like to turn a blind eye to that and feel like, oh, daddy issues is not a real thing. No, it's a real thing. Mommy issues is a real thing. Just like they say, mama's boy. But I will always say this: mama's baby, daddy's maybe. My mom used to always say that to me. I've heard it countless times. But hey, maybe my dad might end up watching this live one day and be like, dang, this is how my daughter felt, with me not being a part of her life. Hey, life happens. But it is 10:17. It has been a great run with you guys. I'm about to at least watch me one episode of a show. I'm about to take my NyQuil. Emotional abandonment with parents. Ooh. I dealt with that. I'm still dealing with that. The emotional abandonment, that's probably why I hold on to people the way I hold on to people. People that is doing me wrong. And I feel like, oh my God, I can't see myself not having them in my life. Yeah. Some parents, they just don't realize how much damage they can cause. Yeah, they cause, they do a lot of good and great for us, whatever the case may be, however y'all want to put that. But some parents don't realize how much damage they truly can cause for a child. And some people just keep it bottled up. Or they result into other things. Like, me, I used to fall into depression. I was depressed a lot. I was drinking a lot, and it was, a lot of us try to make it seem like, oh my God, drinking is, it's so much fun. To be honest, no. So glad I tuned in tonight. Thank you for this live. So great to connect. Yes, I'm so happy you tuned in. I will be coming back. I will be doing more lives. I really, really, really enjoyed this live. And I'm glad that God put it on my heart to come on here and talk to y'all. So until next time, y'all, ta-ta.